Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Coaching. Today I'm going to be chatting to Alex Shapaka. Alex, welcome to Lunchtime Coaching.
Thanks, Kevin. Good to be here.
Alex, you're you're a coach from the ICMI in Namibia and from Namibia. But today we're going to be chatting to you about some of your experience and telling us more about who you are and what it is you do. So please go ahead and tell us who you are.
So Alex Shapaka is a coaching professional and someone who believes very much in the development of people. And actually, when you look at improving your business or improving yourself on a personal level, as well as performance coaching, that's what Alex is in a nutshell. I love working with people, I love improving people, and I love actually working with people who want to see themselves moving to the next level as individuals, but also in their own teams. So in a nutshell, that's who Alex Shapaka is.
So, I mean, Alex, what's interesting about your story is that you haven't been doing coaching for a long time, but you have been, your story started in a corporate environment and working overseas, and you have experience working in Australia. Tell us how all of this came about and how you got to today.
Yeah, so I think I've been an engineering professional for the past 15 years. And I think throughout that period, I've always had a longing to contribute more to society and to influence people in a better way. Because I think a lot of individuals with a lot of potential have come my way. And I think one of the things that I've always strived to do, or that I've always battled with, is seeing so many skillful and talented young professionals just lacking in self-esteem and in self-expression, and actually being able to confidently express who they are and also confidently stand up for what they believe in and actually for what they want to achieve in their own lives. So that longing started from there. And I said that, look, one day I will want to make a difference in my society where I can just help people to just build up their own confidence a little bit, but also their own contribution to society. Because I believe most of us, we are here to make a contribution to society and to play our role. So those are the individuals that I love working with, the individuals who really want to contribute to society, contribute to their organizations, and also contribute to the better well-being of their nations. And at the same time, individuals who are after making a financial contribution to their own families, but also to their own societies. So those are the guys that I love working with.
So essentially, I mean, how did you went from working as an engineer in Namibia, and you got transferred all over the world. You worked in Australia, you came back, and then you had this yearning about wanting to help people, as I understand the story goes. You obviously had to get yourself prepared mentally and professionally and financially to do this, because as you know, coaching and being an entrepreneur is really about getting yourself geared up for being able to do something that's quite difficult, where a lot of young business owners and entrepreneurs really struggle with, obviously. How did you mentally and financially prepare yourself for an undertaking to become a coach and share this with young entrepreneurs and business people?
I think it really starts with purpose. I think most of the individuals that know me will tell you that I've always been someone who's very goal-oriented, and I've never been afraid to stand out from the crowd. So I've never been a crowd follower, but I've always been someone who almost made my own path, was unique in how I conducted myself, but also in the choices that I made in my own life. So I think as an individual, it really starts there, knowing what it is that you want. So if I look back, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, Um, I basically moved from a few organizations, and most of those organizations that I moved from, it's actually organizations where I've never left with bad blood. I know a lot of theory out there always says that people leave bosses, they don't leave their workplace. But with me, it was never really the case. I've just been a very adventurous person, love to learn. I'll find myself in a role, and once I've learned what I needed to learn in that role, made the contribution that I wanted to make, I'd move on to the next thing. And at the same time, financially, I think I've always known that I was not going to work when I say work, I mean in the corporate environment forever. I've always had this thing that says I want to retire before 40. And in fact, right now I am busy writing a book that's actually uh, titled Retire Before 40, and which is
Fantastic.
something that I'm very proud of,
Yeah.
because essentially once I've set my mind that I was going to retire early, it then brought me into the discussion of what am I going to do to actually ensure that I can retire early. So obviously I started venturing into different business ventures with friends, but also some that I did individually. And this started really very early in my career. A lot of them failed actually at the beginning, and I learned tough lessons very early. I think in my second year, I already had a business that I was running with a friend of mine, and that time it was a transport business. And unfortunately, the planning wasn't that good. It didn't last very long. But as I'm saying, it really started from there. That yearning was always there. So that entrepreneurship never left me. So that my finances, I had to plan in terms of this is what I would save. Didn't always stick to it, but most of the time, I can say that I've always had something that I was putting away, and then that I've always had money that I was trying to do things that can actually improve my finances significantly. So transferring from Namibia or Africa as a whole and going to Australia is really again that thing where I wanted to test myself out there in the internationally and in the market and see that okay, if I really think that I know what I'm doing as an engineer, as a young engineer, let me go outside and actually test myself in a country like Australia, Canada. I think if you're in mining, those are the guys who are ranked the top, who are ranked the top in terms of engineering or metallurgical mining professionals.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose those two environments, and I'll say I had a great experience there, and that also propelled me not just financially, but I think technically it also helped me to actually give me the confidence to say that look, if I could make it here, anyone could make it, can make it here. And actually there was nothing special or significantly different from how I experienced mining back home to how I experienced mining in Australia. And really, I could come back and tell my story to a lot of professionals because that experience is really invaluable. The culture mix, the working with professionals, and then the access to information and experts, it was an amazing experience. And I think that's something that you always take with you till this day. I still reach out to a few of those guys, and they still assist me wherever I can. So I think in terms of preparation, it's not a one-day preparation. This was really a 14-year journey.
Now, in terms of, if you could share a lesson with anyone that's going to be watching this, in terms of young entrepreneurs and people who are really wanting to go out there and make a difference, what lesson do you think you could share as a single lesson in your life that really could inspire someone today? What really stands out for you as a life lesson that if people could share today, they would know that?
I think the lesson that stood out for me actually comes from Nike. And
Yes.
that's their motto that says, just do it. I think for a lot of us, we don't start things. And I will say my lesson would be just start, just get a start. Because I think the minute you start, it actually, doors start to open that you never even thought about. People start approaching you that you never even thought about. And then the opportunities are just invaluable. And when you talk to different people who are actually wanting to do the same thing that you want to do, then you actually see that there's so many opportunities and doors. I mean, people ask for things that are actually next door and they just don't know about it. But
Yeah.
most of the awareness and the learning really starts when you are in it. It's nice to read the theory and to give someone advice from what you've read. But I think there's no better teacher than actually when you have done it yourself and you can say to others, look, this is the path that I've worked. This is the path that I've walked. Take what you can take from my journey, and then obviously make it your own.
Absolutely. In terms of motivation, Alex, what motivates you, and how do you get up in the day and go, this is the thing that drives me? What is your motivation to get up and do this and make a difference to people's lives?
I think what motivates me, first of all, I should say that I am a Christian most of all. First of
Yeah.
all, so I think my dad has always imparted that sense of belonging to something bigger than oneself. And I think my driver till this day is when I wake up, I obviously wake up with that knowledge that, look, I am here for a purpose. I'm here to do work, and I'm here to fulfill that mission and get it done. Once my time is out, then I'm out of this world. So, but while I'm here, I'm gonna do the best that I can, and that's really all I can do.
Fantastic. And then lastly, to touch on the ICMI, I know that you and Nangula are running the ICMI in Namibia, and we're part of the ICMI group. Please tell us more about the ICMI, who they are, and what the intention is there.
Okay, so ICMI stands for International Coaching and Mentoring Institute.
Yeah.
And really, what we wanted to do is we wanted to work with a lot of Namibians, because we see so many Namibians, whether it's professionals, young executives, and actually also corporate executives, who find themselves in these roles where they can hardly sometimes breathe, and they don't know how to navigate in these environments that are unfamiliar to them. Some of the professionals come in young, raw, lot of energy, and they really just are overwhelmed by the expectations of the job markets. And sometimes with good intentions, they actually hurt businesses, or they actually hurt other younger professionals. And with a bit of mentoring and coaching, they could have made better choices, and they could have made better decisions before they executed. And that's really why we are there, is to bridge that gap between the professionals and the organizations. So if you, for example, look at coaching in the world, coaching has taken off long time ago. But in Namibia, the concept is fairly new. You'll find a lot of people, especially Black professionals, most of them don't have good mentors. They don't have good coaches. And some of them don't even have these at all. So that just tells you that some of them, it's totally a lack of awareness. And some of them, it's just that the platforms are just, or the organizations are just not there, which really provide the service. And this is why we saw this need in the market. And together with the guys from our head office in South Africa, we said if we can leverage from their experience, from their expertise, from their tools, we can actually bring this home and help people back home as well. And right now, that's what we aim to do. We're working with different radio stations, working with different corporates to actually reach out to their professionals in the organizations and see how we can work together to actually upskill and also make their businesses more profitable. than they currently are. That's really what we are about.
Fantastic. Yeah. So, and you know, with the ICMI, as we both know, that we also we coaching coaches, but we also certifying coaches. So for people who actually really want to be part of that and who really want to get certified as a coach, it's a fantastic place to go and the contacts for that would be ic-mi.com. Alex, how do people get hold of you if they want to know more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so basically, if they go to our website, which is www.num.ic, and then the dash, and then mi.com. So that's a Namibian website. That's a Namibian website. Then I am also available on Twitter and at Brascias, which is my middle name, Bracias, and that's on Twitter. And then you can also find me on my mobile phone, which is 0811 27 6452. And for those obviously who are outside Namibia, the code to Namibia is +264. Then the number is 811 27 6452. So that's how you can get hold of me.
Fantastic. And we'll also add all of those details. Alex, you'll send me all of those details and we'll put it in the video below. So in the description, all of that information will be there. And just lastly, if you want to touch on what's this initiative, we're going to be starting an initiative for every Thursday and showcasing a bit of a webinar. Tell us about that initiative.
So what the initiative is about is it was actually born out of our offering, where we actually saw that there's a very big need in the marketplace for professionals and corporates and corporate executives that are really finding it hard to just get traction again after the whole COVID situation, where people need to come out and get going again. So we actually working with different individuals and getting feedback from them as to what their current needs are, what are their struggles, and actually choosing a topic every Thursday, taking a deep dive into that topic, and then sharing what we know about the topic and what we've learned about it with them, and also ensuring that we get feedback from them. So what we're actually doing is that throughout the week we're capturing questions and feedback from our audiences, and then based on that feedback, we then choose a topic that we actually go and discuss with the people. And then what we actually do is we've got a bunch of 7 coaches in ICMI, and then you actually get the opportunity to ask them whatever you want to ask and to learn from their experiences throughout that 30 minutes to an hour that we'll have the discussion with you.
Yeah, and you know, we've got some wonderful names attached to this, because we've got Tony DeVell, who's going to be on board, and we've got Doc Emmanuel, we've got Nangula, yourself, myself. There's a whole bunch of names that will be available to share, and we'll put that link on the website, so on the ic-mi.com and the Namibian website. So if you guys want to check that out every Thursday, it's probably going to be happening around 6 o'clock at night. And yeah, and then anyone can join, they can ask questions, and yeah, there to help and assist and guide and chats to everyone who's needing to find some answers. Alex Shapaka, thank you so much for joining us on Lunchtime Coaching. This is going to go out and shared on all social media, and I will send all the links around. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the time, and I'm going to see you on Thursday.
All right, thanks Kevin. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and I look forward to corresponding with all those who are interested in learning my stories and obviously engaging with ICMI.
Fantastic. Thanks, Alex. Chat to you soon.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.